The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
The Morning Drive on Double T 97.3. It's randomly delicious.
Still think so? Is it still randomly delicious? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hope others kind of walk away feeling that too from time to time.
No, we want them to feel like it's consistently delicious.
Consistently delicious instead of randomly delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's randomly delicious. It is. This was kind of interesting. And on one hand, it's like, I think it's cool. On the other hand, I think it would be like incredibly hard to kind of keep your focus. This took place yesterday as Carter Baumler was pitching for the Texas Rangers. The new manager, Skip Shoemaker, came out to have conversation with him. This is after he got the first two out in the fifth inning last night. And the catcher, Danny Jansen, and all four infielders also came onto the mound. And that's when the manager told the 24-year-old that he would that he had made the club and would start the season in the Texas Rangers bullpen. This from the ESPN article. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, why is he coming out here? And he got on the mound and told me I'd made the team. I mean, honestly, I thought I was like getting taken out of the game. Obviously, when the manager comes out, usually you're done. But apparently Baumler hugged Schumacher when he got back to the dugout after the third out. And Schumacher said, he goes, I want to make it as memorable as I can. He said, I'll never forget when I got called up, the exact moment, the exact game in Memphis, Tennessee. It was like the most amazing time. I was just trying to think of a special way to tell him. But that's pretty cool. But I mean, on the other hand, it's like, okay, you're being told that you're being kept on the big club. And now it's like, okay, get that guy out. It's like, man, you got probably 72,000 things running through your head.
Yeah, it's a spring training game.
I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a real game. I thought it was really cool. I thought that was really neat. Thought that was a cool way to do it. I think he'll always remember it, and I think that I imagine that the rest of the teammates were excited that they got to be a part of it. The guys that were out there in the infield that were in there as well. Yeah,
so the Rangers get started on Thursday. They'll play in Philadelphia against the Phillies. It'll be an afternoon affair. We'll have it for you at 2 o'clock on Double T 97.3. And then the Astros take on the Angels for the first of 32, 35 games that they'll play against the Rangers, the Angels this year. That's a 2:40 start on 100.7 the score.
You know what he could have done to make it just a little more memorable?
What's that?
You bring everybody in. Bring the outfielders in so it makes it looks like you're having a big conversation. Mm-hmm. You don't tell them until the ump gets there to break it up. Mm. So then the ump gets to hear it too, and you see the ump turn around and he'd be like, that's funny, as he walks back.
You feel like...
Anybody else have, think it was very ironic that we shouldn't play other interleague games, we shouldn't play other teams, we should play our division, is making jokes about them playing 35 games against their division opponent. You don't get to complain about that when you complain about the other side.
Okay.
These are the reasons, the exact reasons why we like interleague.
Yeah.
So you're not playing the same team 35 times. And you have argued against that.
I have.
And now you're
right.
making cracks about it.
You're right. You're right. You're right to call me out on that. I just wish that you played teams within the other divisions more times, not necessarily more interleague games.
Right, because I want the insert worst team in baseball in the AL West to determine who wins the AL East.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I mean, that's kind of how I grew up, and,
I want it to be like the NBA. Just play them all.
Yeah.
Just play them all.
By the way,
every year.
They do.
Every year. Play them all.
They don't play every team.
Do they or do they?
I think they play everybody at least once.
I'm not sure of that.
Okay. I'm not sure of that either. I think that's... Yeah. I think you're going to have to
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that you get a home and home with everybody in the National League.
You definitely don't.
You don't get a home and home.
You get everybody.
The other guy that made the Rangers, and this is a bit of, maybe, I don't know if it's a surprise, maybe a bit of a surprise, but Andrew
it's not a surprise that Josh made the Rangers. No, he's their starting third baseman.
Yeah, I'm aware. Andrew McCutchen made the Rangers. At 39, he'll split time at designated hitter, maybe play a few games in the field. And Chris Young saying that McCutchen, who had joined the team on a minor league contract about 3 weeks ago, will be part of the 26-man roster when the season begins. He won the 2013 National League MVP, an All-Star 5 times, and so he joins the Rangers. Can he help them? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't think he's, a difference maker for them, but could he be a fourth or fifth outfielder and do some DHing? I think he could probably do some of that. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not shocked he made the big club, just because when they brought him on, I didn't think you would bring him in unless you thought he was going to be on the team.
Yeah.
And so, otherwise, why do you go to a veteran like that?
Yeah, and maybe he's
3 weeks of spring training or whatever.
Yeah, maybe he's going to help with just some leadership and stuff like that in the clubhouse too.
I'm sure he can do some of that too.
He had 63 games last year because of injuries. So that's let's see. Here's what the Ranger manager said. He came in, performed well right away. He fit right in the clubhouse, can still play the outfield at times. I don't think you'll see him all the time out there, but if we need him, he'll play out there. But just a really valuable piece to either come off the bench in a high leverage spot or also potentially start against left-handed pitching. Okay. The Rangers also said that Kumar Rocker will be the fifth starter in the rotation. So he's a guy that went 4-5 last year, 5.74 ERA, 56 strikeouts. Hopefully he can take it to the next level. He was a guy that I think was really good at times, and then not so much at times too.
I think he flashed some of the stuff that made him a great pitcher in college, and felt like he would be a star at the next level. So I think he gave you hope that he can be a solid starter.
Yeah. I'm curious, for those who have been following the Rangers closely during spring training and the off season, if what your thought process is. So if you have, an opinion on kind of where the Rangers you think they should be or are going to be, hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
For this day in sports history, today is Tuesday, March the 24th, 2026. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1936. Detroit Red Wings beat the Montreal Maroons 1-0 in 16 minutes and 30 seconds of the sixth period of overtime. Stanley Cup it is a record Stanley Cup playoff game lasting 9 periods.
Wow.
176 minutes.
A playoff game?
Yes. Stanley Cup playoff.
I thought when you started off with 1-0 seemed rather pedestrian, but then I knew there was going to be more to the story.
Why are we in the playoffs now?
In 1936?
Yeah. Seems early.
Well, it's early for now, for sure.
Yeah.
The NHL season is extended since then. You got to remember, this was back when it was the original 8.
Okay.
6.
Original 6. 1956, 18th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship took place. San Francisco beat Iowa 83-71. Dons win back-to-back national titles. 1974, the 36th NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. North Carolina beats Marquette 76-64. Wolfpack first title in their first tournament officially designated as a Division I championship. 1979, Michigan State's Magic Johnson registers a triple-double with 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists as the Spartans cruise to a 101-67 victory over Penn State. In 2007, Kyle Martin hits a second inning. Hang on. Let's try this one more time. Put all the words in the right order.
Okay.
Kyle Martin hits a second home run in as many games, and James Leverton's winning run is by a balk as Texas Tech beats Baylor 8-7.
You remember that game?
Win one?
In 2007?
Oh, 2007. Oh, sorry. It's before your time, yeah.
2019, two-time American League MVP Mike Trout signs the biggest contract in North American sports history, a $426.5 million 12-year extension with the Los Angeles Angels.
Rainbow getting a big deal, but they don't call him Mike Rainbow Trout. It's Steve Rainbow Trout was the Cub pitcher.
I think they just call him Hurt a lot. It is National Cheesecake Day and National Chocolate-Covered Raisin Day.
Huge fan.
You're a bigger fan of the chocolate-covered raisin than the cheesecake, aren't you?
I do not enjoy cheesecake.
Yeah, I didn't think you did.
Happy birthday to Jim Parsons, who's 53. The Undertaker is 61. Peyton Manning, 50. Jessica Chastain is 49. Allison Hannigan is 52. And Chris Bosh is 42. And on this day in 1989, one of the worst oil spills in U.S. history begins when the supertanker Exxon Valdez, owned and operated by the Exxon Corporation, runs aground on a reef in Prince William Sound in southern Alaska. An estimated 11 million gallons of oil eventually spilled into the water. Attempts to contain the massive spill were unsuccessful, and the wind and current spread the oil over more than 100 miles from its source, eventually polluting more than 700 miles of coastline. Hundreds of thousands of birds and animals were adversely affected by the environmental disaster. And that is This Day in Sports History.
This Day in Sports History, 6:49 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Bullfighter weighs in this morning. He says, I think the Rangers will be better offensively this year than last, which isn't saying much. You know, it's a low bar to jump over. Bullpen looks to be better. Okay, good. Just really hoping the starters can stay healthy for another year.
If they're healthy, I think it could be a good rotation.
Mm-hmm. You got Jacob deGrom. You got Nathan Eovaldi. You've got... also,
Kumar Rocker.
Kumar Rocker is the fifth starter. Mackenzie Gore and Jack Leiter.
Yeah, Gore is the guy you traded for from the Nats. Yep. And Leiter, I think, has shown signs of being a guy that can be relied upon as well.
Yeah, and can he just go a little deeper in games?
You just need those first two to be the studs that they have the potential to be.
Yeah. Feel free to. I mean, would you Jacob deGrom had a good year last year, wouldn't you say that?
I think he had a great year last year.
Yeah.
So did Eovaldi.
Yeah. 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that of the mobile app. Major League Baseball will start. I'm glad they're starting in our country this year, as opposed to, outside the continental, 48 United States. That really irritated me last year when they started that thing off overseas in the middle of the night. So the Yankees and the Giants will get things going on Wednesday night in the Giants Park.
All right.
Are you cool with it switching around from Cincinnati to other teams, or would you prefer to just stay with Cincinnati?
No, I'm fine with it moving around.
Okay. Rangers start off on the road. They start off in Philadelphia, and then they go from Philly to Baltimore. So it does irritate me a little bit that they start off with a team that's not in their league. That just seems.
There's one every day, Chuck.
Yeah, I know.
There's 15 teams in each league.
Mm-hmm.
If they only play their own league on the first day, and for the first game, there's two teams who are waiting the first series to have a game.
No. What I'm saying is, it irritates me that it starts off with interleague play. Is what I'm saying.
Well, somebody's starting with interleague play in baseball every year.
I know. I just don't like. I don't like it.
Well, I'm sure they'll take that as a no. And I'm sure somewhere in that note will be, well, we started in the United States just for you, Mr. Heinz.
That didn't really bother you last year, did it?
No, it did not.
Yeah, I didn't think it did. I didn't think it did. So we'll have Ranger baseball again this year, and the Astros again this year. It'll be good to hear Mr. Nadell again on the airways, along with Matt Hicks. I look forward to that.
They are awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's the Ranger question: can you keep those 3 pitchers healthy? That's the question. Yeah, hopefully so.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, no doubt. And can you keep Josh Young healthy too? Is he healthy now? I mean, because he was out for a little bit during the spring.
Yes, he's back.
He's back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hopefully,
he's been playing for a few weeks.
What's
10 days maybe?
What's Jace's chances to get up with a big club?
Got to hit. They've got young talent up there as well, so it's not like he's the only young guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to hit.
Yeah, so that
he's gotten his opportunities at the big league level. He's just really struggled to hit.
But that does that surprise you?
Yes.
Because you thought it would be more the defense than it would be the offense, right?
I mean, I didn't think he'd hit for a super, super high average or whatever, but I thought he'd be able to hit home runs and hit high enough average, 250, whatever. But he just hasn't been able to. And you look at his numbers at the AAA level, and they're pretty decent. He does those things, and he just hasn't been able to translate to the big league level when he's gotten his shot so far.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to him this coming year. See what he can do. We'll have Red Raider baseball on the air for you today. 1:30 for the warm-up show on both 100.7 The Score and Double T 97.3. 2 o'clock first pitch. Maybe 2:02. We're not going to worry about it. 2:01.
It'll be 2:05. Okay.
2:05.
It's always 5 minutes after when it's a home game. Okay.
2:05.
Okay. 5 minutes. No need to worry or wonder. Okay. It's always 5 minutes.
Don't need to wring my hands over it. Okay. I look forward to it.
I sure hope they don't shake off the first pitch just to make it 2:06.
I look forward to hearing it today on Double T 97.3 and on 100.7.
Plenty of seats available.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Gerry Glasco on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Service Compression. Committed to service, advanced technology, and field-proven compression expertise in the oil field. See them at servicecompression.com. Now our conversation with softball coach Gerry Glasco.
Hey, good morning. It is 7:15 this morning on the Morning Drive with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. We'll hear from Red Raider baseball coach Tim Tadlock tomorrow night with Red Raider baseball with Coach Tadlock. That'll be from 6 to 7. He'll talk about the baseball game that's taking place today between Tech and New Mexico. That's a 1:30 broadcast time and 2:05 first pitch on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score, and then preview the series this weekend as the Red Raiders travel to Fort Worth to take on Texas Christian University. Red Raider softball is in action today. They take on Tarleton State, and then this weekend they'll play host to the Iowa State Cyclones. As we prepare and get ready for our conversation with the head softball coach of Texas Tech University, and Gerry Glasco joins us on the Visual Edge IT hotline. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
All right, so you guys you had a pretty good weekend with UCF in terms of you win all 3 games. You had a tight one on Friday. Was that good for Nigeri Kennedy to kind of have a little pressure on her on Friday and pitch it in a tight game like that?
Yeah, it's good for our team. Anytime we can get in a tight game, it's good for us because we're not getting a lot of those. And the 8-0 games and the 10-0 games, you learn a little bit. You learn to get the momentum in your dugout, and you learn to keep it, and you learn to step on people's throat. That's good. You can learn a little bit out of that. But the tight games, and that's how it's going to be in the playoffs. In the playoffs, the farther you go, you're going to have to win the 1-run games and the 2-1, the 3-2, 4-3 type games. And so getting to play in those kind of games right now is important. And we need those moments. It's frustrating because we know we're good enough that we can't avoid those on almost any night. But the truth is, we need those games so that when we do get them in the playoffs, it's not strange territory to us. And we've had several of those one-run games. And as a coach always wants to win the one-run games. I always say to coaches, when you have one-run games, you should win more than you lose because that's on your coaching staff. And so it's always exciting for us as a coaching staff, too, to win the one-run games.
With that being said, Coach, how disappointing was it to miss out on the midweek games last week due to the travel issues, especially with Florida State?
Yeah, it's just devastating. It was our spring break trip. We planned that trip so the kids could enjoy a spring break experience in Florida. And, we get to the airport, got your stuff all packed up for a week, and you walk up to the counter, and they said, well, you're not on this flight. You're on tomorrow evening. We're playing tomorrow evening. We got to fly today. And nobody could figure out what happened. And then finally they said, oh, well, they've just moved you they've moved you in Dallas from today till tomorrow. And then, but the problem was the flight they'd moved us on next day was a connecting flight from Lubbock to Dallas, Dallas to Houston to Orlando. And we didn't get to Orlando. If we would have landed on time, we was at 11 p.m. The problem was our hotel was 4 hours away in Tallahassee, and we'd already missed the Stetson game. And then, so we tried to change the tickets. We tried every airline. We tried to get a charter. No charters were available because so many are taken up with the NCAA tournament right now. And anyway, it was a disaster, and it was devastating. It was really frustrating. And it was also a very critical game. We needed the Florida State game. We only have a few top 10 games on our schedule, and so that was one of them. And so that's going to be interesting when it comes to seeding time and how much we get penalized for that.
So were you able to make any lemonade out of it, Coach, in terms of having any kind of an experience for them, whether it was in Orlando or here in town?
Well, I think the lemonade was we got to come back to our field, and we got to practice. We got to practice for 2 days on our field. So I knew that when we got to Central Florida, we were more prepared for that Central Florida series. I mean, I said the minute it happened, I said, well, this will help us be more prepared for Central Florida. Because when we were preparing totally for Florida State, everything was based on Florida State, and then we were just going to go to Central Florida and wing it, do the best we could there. And so it allowed us to really be prepared for Central Florida. And I think and it probably was a good thing. So there was some good things about it. And the other part, we got a lot more rest. We're a much more rested ball club right now. And we're getting ready to get on we're getting on a plane. We're getting on a bus here in about 45 minutes to leave for an hour. A 5-hour trip over to Stevensville tonight, and then we'll get home at 1 o'clock. So we would have been a lot tireder ball club today with a big trip in front of us here today. Instead, we come home from a 3-day trip instead of a 5 or 6 day trip. So there's some good things about it, but we needed that game with Florida State desperately.
Coach, I think when we all saw the roster that you put together, we had extremely high expectations, and your team has met those expectations. And I'm sure some of those same things could be said by you. But what are some things about this team, or maybe one thing about this team that has surprised even you?
Well, the development of Sam Lincoln, I couldn't be more pleased with the development of Sam Lincoln. I knew she had the potential to be good last fall when she went from 64 in September to 69 in October. But then the way she's, improved her command and her control, and the way she's increased her movement, she's added an off speed. Her development as a pitcher is probably the most surprising thing on the whole team to us. And I'm proud of that, because the one thing you take great pride in as a coach is you want to be able to develop a player like Sam Lincoln. You want to be able to develop a player like Haley Toney and Maya Davis, the kids that played 4 years for you. I like the portal. Portal's been great. The portal's allowed us to get in a position that we wouldn't have been able to get in this quickly. as a coaching staff and as a program. But on the other hand, as a coach, I want players to know if they come here out of high school and they work hard, they'll be developed and they'll reach their potential. And so Sam Lincoln, her development is, to me, the most pleasing, the most surprising thing that people on the outside of our program would say changed the most. And then all the great players we added, it's been fun to watch because we've added speed, we've added power, we've added some defense. I mean, if you look at it on paper, we're just a completely better ball club all the way around. We're better. We got deeper pitching. We've got more power. We've got more batting average. We've got more every area, every aspect of the game. But then on the other hand, when you're a team that gets so good at the end of the year, you reach runner-up national champion, it's hard to improve on that. And it reminds me, I had a high school team that we coached one of my last years in Illinois, and we were 30-3, and we had 3 All-State players move in to join the program that next year, and we went 31-4, I think, or 31-2. You know, it's just hard to improve when you get so good, and the team chemistry part is that reason. We had such amazing chemistry at the end of last year and such amazing team chemistry. And so we're seeing that now the challenge, like Vic Valdez is a superstar teammate. And, you know, we saw last year as a catcher how good she was and how good she handled Ivory. And, you know, her senior year, and she comes in, and we got the All-American catcher, joins the program from Ohio State, and you've got an all Pac-12 first team from Cal, joins the program, and here she is. And so her senior year is not how she envisioned it in June last year. But yet she's a superstar teammate. And now you're seeing Vic Valdez. It took her a couple weeks. You know, I told my staff yesterday, it took Vic 2 weeks. It would have took me a month and a half when I was 18, 20 years old. It might have took me all season, but Vic, it took her 2 weeks, and now she's a superstar teammate again, and we're getting great contributions. So that's the key to this team now, is the chemistry. It's not about the talent, it's about the chemistry and getting them all to play together. And players like Vic Valdez that are champions, that are winners, they're gonna lead, and then everyone's got to follow. And if we can get all this great talent to play with that great gamesmanship and teamsmanship of Vic Valdez, we're going to be really good at the end of the year. And so that's the goal, and that's what is probably the most surprising thing to watch as a coach is how it's all going to unfold. Because I don't even know how that's going to unfold, and that's what we're seeing.
Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck today against Tarleton State and this weekend against Iowa State. That's the head coach of the Texas Tech softball team.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, I've got a fill-in-the-blank question for you today.
I don't know that we do very well with these.
I think we do great.
Okay.
And the answer cannot be anything that has to do with injuries, because we know injuries change everything.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Answer that every time if we wanted to. Okay. Today's fill-in-the-blank statement is, if the Red Raiders miss out on the college football playoff in 2026, it's most likely because...
It's most likely because, man, I can go 2 different ways on this. I hate putting the blame on the defense when the defense has been, I think, pretty good over the last couple of years. But I feel like the offense is going to be powerful enough to win. So I'm going to say the defense isn't quite what you think it's going to be heading into the season, knowing that it's going to be not as good or dominant as it was last year.
Okay.
If your quarterback isn't who we think he is.
Okay. My answer is more similar to Jeff's. If Brendan Sorsby just never gets comfortable in this offense and ultimately ends up turning the ball over a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't fit the system, which doesn't make sense. But, so, it just, like, if he never gets comfortable and he ends up having a very disappointing season and there's a bunch of turnovers that are a part of that, we all know turnovers can just completely change games. That, to me, is what it would take. All right. Now, how likely, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being most likely, how likely are the three scenarios or the three things that we brought up? What is your answer? I mean, I think mine's about 1 out of 10.
I'm in the 1 to 3 range kind of thing. Yeah. Somewhere in that portion of the 1 to 10 ratio. No. I'm at a 0 for Chuck, by the way.
You're at a 0 for Chuck.
Yeah.
For it to be not as good as you think it's going to be?
I don't think it will be the reason. I don't think that the defense will take enough of a step back that it will be the reason that you don't make the college football playoff.
Okay.
They could give up another touchdown a game and still be dominant.
Okay, I mean,
I'm not saying that
I would go higher on that, to think that the defense is not going to be as good. And the reason I'm giving it some legs is that you lost amazing players. Mm-hmm. Amazing players. David Bailey being a top 10 pick, maybe a top 5 pick. That's difficult to replace. Jacob Rodriguez, was, as far as I'm concerned, the best defensive player in college football last year, hands down. He made so many plays for you.
Yeah.
An amazing leader, all of the above. You don't just throw those guys out and say, hey, we got other good guys. Yes, we do, but those guys are amazing football players. So if you were saying there's a chance of what Chuck is saying happening, to me, that has a greater odds of happening. Like the defense, we still think the defense is going to be good, Jeff. Like you said, they still could be great and give up 7 more per game. But what if it's what if it's mid-20s? Okay, so what if it's 10 or 11 more per game? Okay, or 12 more per game instead of just 7. So that would be they're not as good as we think they're going to be, and then you suddenly aren't the dominant team that we think the Red Raiders should be this year.
And then if you have a stumble a little bit with your quarterback or your offense, then it makes those games a little bit closer. Maybe
so
more one-possession games.
Yeah, what's my confidence level that that's going to happen, what Chuck said? It's like a 3 maybe. Okay, so not high.
That's fair.
I'm not that worried about it. Not high. But I'm saying, in my opinion, it has more likelihood than Brendan Sorsby just coming in and not fitting into the system that we have, or not ever getting comfortable. I mean, this is the guy that we went out and got because we felt like he was what we wanted.
Best
right?
in the business.
Yeah.
And to me, on the offensive side, again, can the offensive line protect him to the point where can do what he's supposed to be able to do?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have a huge question about that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they protected Baron Morton last year. I don't expect the offensive line to be worse this season.
Yeah. Let's see here.
You got a more mobile quarterback.
Yeah. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. The Big 12 looks better as a whole. The defense won't be as good. Might only have an average margin of victory of 2 possessions rather than 3 possessions. Okay. Somebody else says, I think this team will really miss Lee Hunter and Cole Wisniewski this season. Yeah,
those are two more really good ones.
Absolutely. The only way Tech misses the college football playoffs is if there's a weird three-way tie at the top and you don't make the Big 12 championship game at 10-2.
I thought about answering that there's some crazy tie scenario that didn't go in our favor.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Double T 97.3 presents the Morning Drive Power Hour. The Power Hour is presented by Service Compression, committed to service, advanced technology, and field-proven compression expertise in the oil field. See them at servicecompression.com.
Man, what a combination, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dallas Stars and the Power Hour and everything like that. Can it get any better than that, Jamie?
I don't know if it can, man.
Can it get any better than that?
That's the playoff spot locked, Dallas Stars, by the way. Not that it was a big, worry that they were going to be making the playoffs. They got the second best record in the Western Conference, but it's now official.
If they don't play for the Cup, will that be a disappointment?
If they're not in the Western Conference Finals, I think that would be a disappointment.
Okay. All right. That may be a little fair.
They are good enough to win the Cup, especially with how they've been playing minus the last two games.
Okay. That'd be exciting, wouldn't it, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll have Red Raider Baseball on the air for you today. They take on New Mexico. That'll be a 1:30 broadcast time, 2:05 first pitch. All right. We'll have it for you on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score. The weather is supposed to be very cooperative today, Jamie. Very cooperative. I mean, you're looking at, first pitch about 79 degrees today. Okay.
It's very nice.
Okay, so it's expected to be in the mid-80s around 5, 6 o'clock. So hopefully you're done by then.
Mm-hmm.
So do you expect a run rule game today?
No.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That would please you, though, right?
If it was the Red Raiders.
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. I mean,
not so much if it was New Mexico.
It goes without saying, right? Doesn't it? If I ask that question, it goes without saying.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it's going to be too windy today either. I don't think, but we'll see. All right.
More likely run rule game or a 30-plus run game for both teams, like combined.
30-plus run game?
Combined. So 15-14, 16-14.
Good God. What is he thinking, Jamie?
No, I'm laughing because he just did math on the air and failed miserably.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have a 15-15 game. Right. So then I had to change it.
You had to change it to make it 16-14, right. I knew what you're throwing out there.
Initially, he said 15-14.
Yeah, I know.
Which is 29, which is less than 30.
It's less than 30, right. Yeah.
I think, to answer Jeff's question, more likely a run rule.
Okay. And is the run rule after 5 or after 6?
7.
After 7. Okay. Yeah. It's
5
in softball. Yeah, 5 in softball, 7 in baseball. All right. 8:04 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
Look at us learning.
All together here, right? All together. How do you think the Big 12 has done in the basketball tournament so far? It doesn't feel like that you've lived up to what you kind of say, again, with regard to you're the toughest team, toughest conference in the nation. I mean, I realize you've got, the number 1 team and maybe the number 2 team in Houston and in Arizona. We got those, and you got Iowa State left. So you've got 3 teams left. The Big Ten has excelled in this NCAA tournament with Purdue, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, all playing in the Sweet 16, along with Michigan and Michigan State. They have 6.
Feels like they've been better than you.
Yeah.
I really went out on a limb there, didn't I?
Yeah. But I mean, is it the kind of, that's just kind of how it's gone?
You were 6-2 the first set of games.
Mm-hmm.
and one of those was an upset, and one of those you got upset. I'd call that a wash because you were expecting to go 6-2 with just the better seeding, right?
Yeah.
You then, the two that lost the next round had both had one player who sometimes wants to play and sometimes doesn't want to play. Mm-hmm. And the other one, oh, by the way, lost possibly the National Player of the Year had he stayed healthy.
Yeah. And JT Toppin. Yeah.
But if you taking those things into account, they were still 2 4 seeds that lost to 5 seeds. Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a major upset, though.
No, I wouldn't call it major upsets, but I would say that you would have thought or hoped that if you're the Big 12 that you would have got one of those 2 teams in.
Yeah. I'd also say that it was... I can't be upset at those two, fives losing to fours or fours losing to fives. Like, that's just... I can't build an outrage factory over that.
Yeah, no, I don't think the outrage factory for Red Raider fans is that you lost to a team that was terrible. It is that you looked like maybe not everybody wanted to be there, and it also looked, if you watch the game, like they were way more talented than you were.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's disturbing, especially in this era of, hey, you're paying that roster a lot of money, even without JT Toppin. There's guys that are banking pretty good checks over there, and if that's the case, that's really disappointing that they just couldn't, quote, get up for it, or they weren't that interested, or they didn't want to, dive for 50-50 balls, or for whatever reason. That
I think it felt like a lost cause without JT Toppin.
Yeah,
it's kind of what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I mean,
but then there were guys on the team that looked like they were playing super hard. Mm-hmm. So.
It wasn't everybody. It's not a full indictment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly.
It's not a full indictment, but I think you would have to classify the Big 12 a little bit as a disappointment.
Okay, a little bit. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Again, if you would, I don't think I would give you that if either Kansas or Texas Tech had advanced.
Okay. Yeah, and
but it's not falling flat on its face.
No, it's not.
And it's still possible to have 3 of your 4 in the Final Four.
And then we'll be like, look at this. The Big 12 showed that they're...
Right.
Yeah.
The narrative could completely change in a couple of weeks. No doubt. Yeah. And would it really surprise anyone if Houston and Arizona are playing in the Final Four or playing for the... I think they can play in the national championship game.
Yeah, they could play in the national championship game.
Yeah.
It would surprise me if they both made it to the national championship game. It would not surprise me if they were both in the Final Four.
It would not surprise me if they both made it.
Yeah.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.